and I'm going to go over some MLB thoughts and picks and that kind of stuff for tonight's 7 p.m. Eastern slate. So before we get into that, I'll wait for some people to get live here on the chat. I'll try to watch the chat and see if you guys have any questions or anything. I just want to show you guys how to get notified when I go online. So what you want to do is you want to go to my Sports Geek second channel. So type in the Sports Geek second. I can't do that because I'm logged into that account right now, but I'll show you using my main Sports Geek channel. And then beside the subscribe button, you can see this little gear icon. You want to click that, and you want to make sure this is checked and click save. And then you're going to get notifications to your mobile device or email, whatever settings you have set for that. And then you'll get notifications when I go online with the stream, because after I record the stream, it takes a little bit of time for the stream to upload to YouTube. So if you miss it live, it takes a little bit of time. So that way you get notified and you can watch live. All right, so let's get into today's MLB slate. Again, I haven't done much research. I kind of looked at stuff quickly this morning, like I usually do, but I haven't done much yet. It's usually around an hour or 2 hours before the game start where I'm doing my research when the lineups are out. So it looks like a lot of the lineups are confirmed. If we go to the lineup page, you can see a lot of green, which means we got a lot of lineups confirmed. A couple late games won't have the lineup set yet, but most of the early games look to be set. And then another thing I like to do is kind of check on weather. Sometimes I kind of forget about this when I'm in the models, but if you're on the lineup page, you can see here we got some light rain in St. Louis to look out for, some rain in Minnesota. So those are two things to watch as well. The lineups look set. Then I like to go over to the Fantasy Labs Vegas dashboards. If you guys don't have an account at Fantasy Labs, a couple of these tools are actually free, but you want to sign up for the pro membership, the full membership, which gets you access to the models, which is where you create your lineups and make your money. So make sure you do that. I've got a link in the YouTube description if you don't have an account yet. I recommend signing up for the full year as well. That way it covers NFL for you. There's lots of great tools coming out for NFL, and I've had a ton of success with Fantasy Lab NFL tools. So sign up for the full year if you haven't already signed up for a Fantasy Labs account. Hey, Tyler. Just saw you type in the chat there. If you guys are in the chat, you guys have any questions, type them in there and I'll try to answer as well. So I go to this Vegas dashboard, and one thing I like to do is look at the implied live total. So implied live is the implied team total. Just looking at the Vegas odds, it gives you the implied team total. And then you can also see a difference. So you can see here the Phillies have dropped from 4.6 to 4.3. So money's coming in on either the under or either on the Braves, which brings down Philadelphia's implied team total. So that's one thing to watch too. If there's a lot of line movement, it could mean some sharp bettors are coming in on that team or against that team. So again, we got some big line movement here in Cleveland. They've gone from 4.5 to 5 for their implied total. So that would be a team to watch. The Jays are at 5.3. Rays 4.9, Boston 5.8. That is the biggest on the night. Got Arizona at 5.2. So you can kind of find out which teams are going to be popular, the batters, just by looking at the implied team totals. And then you got to go check the player models and kind of see where the pricing is for those players. So if a team like Boston, who has the highest team implied total, if they have some cheap hitters in their lineup, if DraftKings has them priced pretty cheap, then those are probably going to be really popular plays. So you got to kind of look at pricing as well. And then if you want to be contrarian, you can find teams that don't have as high of a team total. Like I would be looking at teams like Oakland at 4.9, Tampa Bay 4.9, Cleveland again. They're at team totals up to 5 now. And that's moved up half a run. That's pretty huge for a team total. So I kind of look over that quickly and just get an idea of some teams that I want to be looking. And then I head over to my Sports Geek model. So again, if you guys have a Fantasy Labs account, you can copy the Sports Geek model into your own account. Brian Rodriguez says, why nobody is talking about Toronto tonight? I did some research too. I was quickly looking at some other websites and that. And I noticed that a lot of people aren't mentioning Toronto, and I'm wondering if that's because everyone knows they're going to be a pretty popular play, and they just don't want to talk about the obvious picks or what. But if a lot of people aren't going to be on Toronto, I definitely will be tonight. So I don't know. I don't know if people aren't talking about Toronto because it's an obvious choice or because they're going elsewhere with other hitters. So we'll see. I really like Toronto's 1-5 stack tonight. Let's take a look at the stacks. Talking about stacks, so we'll go confirmed and projected. Build the stacks out. And Boston is number one again. Worked out for us yesterday, so that would be another good choice. Although they are facing a little bit of a better pitcher tonight. AJ Griffin, who is coming off a pretty solid performance, going 5 innings with 8 strikeouts. So it might be a good night to fade Boston, but with the way they can hit and it being played in Boston, I don't know if I'll fade the number one stack here for the night. So I might have a Boston lineup going tonight, although I believe that'll be popular. You saw that they were the number one, the highest implied team total for the night. So if you want to go with something a bit less popular, it might be good to take a look at Arizona. Their lineup isn't confirmed right now, so that would be a good choice. They're at 5.2 in implied team total. But again, yeah, Toronto is the second highest implied team total. It seems like not a lot of people are talking about them. Their stack isn't rating too high on this Fantasy Labs model, but if you come down here, they do have a couple stacks. We got Donaldson, Saunders, Tulo, Smoke, Travis. Or you could just go 1 through 5 hitters with Toronto tonight, I think. If you throw in Carrera, Edwin, Saunders, Tulo, Donaldson, I think that would be a good stack. But other than that, yeah, I like Cleveland. Cleveland has, again, their implied team total went from 4.5 to 5, so that usually means something. And they're coming up as the second rated stack for the Sports Geek model. And then you can see here it's not a 1 through 5 stack. We're going 1, 2, 3, 5, and 8 hitters. That might be a good play there. Let's take a look at who they're facing tonight. Okay, they're going to be facing Sanchez. And yeah, he's struggled all year, so that might be a good play, but they're probably going to be pretty popular. But I wouldn't mind playing Cleveland at all. Cleveland, Boston, Toronto, Arizona, and then those are going to be the popular plays. And then if you want to go with a little more contrarian, a little less owned players, you might want to go with a Tampa Bay stack. With this many teams on the slate, it's tough. There's so many stacks you could go with. You could find like an ultra contrarian team, maybe someone like the Twins at home, the Cardinals, depending on the weather there. You could even go with the Royals against Dickey. Their implied team total is only 4.2, but they're facing R.A. Dickey at the Rogers Center. Dickey hasn't been great all year. So maybe even a game stack with the Royals and the Blue Jays wouldn't be a bad idea. The Phillies at home, I'm surprised their implied team total here has dropped by 0.3 here. I thought they were a good play when I was checking earlier this morning. So let's move on to pitchers. Just quickly take a look at some pitchers for tonight. So I really like the Sports Geek model for pitching, and it proved to be pretty good yesterday. I ended up fading one of the higher rated pitchers in the model, and he ended up going off for a big game. So tonight I'm going to stick, I think, with some of these higher rated guys. Bumgarner is the highest price pitcher on the slate at 11.7, but he's definitely going to be a solid play for tonight. Probably, I would guess he would be the most popular pick for tonight, followed by Carrasco. Those two are, I think they're pretty obvious plays of the night, but a pretty good start for your team would be taking one of these two guys, maybe going with a cheaper pitcher. Odorizzi at 6,500 looks good. Gio Gonzalez at 7,700 looks good. Kenta Maeda, I don't know how to pronounce his name, 8,800. He would be a good pick. And then if we go down a little bit, Yeah, I would stick to these guys probably in the dark green. Uh, for the most part, for GPPs, you can go off the board a little bit and hope one of these guys has a really good game. Like you go with the 5,500 with Zach Godley, something like that. But for the most part, I think I'll be sticking in this dark green here on the Sports Geek model because we can get someone like Bumgarner at 11.7 and then go cheap with someone like Odorizzi or Gio Gonzalez. So I think these 6 or 7 pitchers here, David Price might be a good contrarian option. Not too many people will be on him tonight, I don't think, against Texas at Fenway, but we'll see. He's obviously a pretty good pitcher. He's been up and down lately, but you can see over his last 5 starts, he's put up 20 or more DraftKings points in 4 of the 5. But then again, if you look at the one team that did hit him hard, it was the Texas Rangers, 12 hits over 2 1/3 innings. So he'll probably be less popular just because of that. If people are checking his game log and see that Texas hit him hard, they might be fading him. But overall, he's been pretty consistent. I think I might throw in a lineup with Price in it just because you're getting such a good pitcher at maybe low ownership. I would guess for GPPs, he might be about 10% owned or so. I think a lot of people would rather go up to Bumgarner or Carrasco. So Price might be a good GPP option. Really, any of these guys in the dark green here, I think would be solid options, cash or GPP. Mainly playing GPP, so I'll be focusing on trying to get a little lower ownership, although I don't like leaving out the top options like Bumgarner, who I think will be high owned. So if you guys have any questions in the chat, I see there's a couple people watching. If you have any questions, let me know. Other than that, I'll sign off in a minute here. Padres lineup confirmed, so we can take a look at that. So the Padres stack might be all right. They're going against, let's see what Zach Godley looks like. Yeah, I'd have to look into him more. I don't know much about him. Looks like he might be making just a spot start or something. So I'd have to look into that, but they might be a good option just for a contrarian cheap stack. If you look at a couple of their guys with some pro trends, 2.6K, 2.4K, Travis Jankowski leading off at 3.6K. He has a pretty solid game log, so that's definitely someone I would be looking at. And I really want to see Arizona's lineup come out soon, so I can possibly throw a couple Arizona stacks in as well. But again, I'll probably be going. I'll probably be starting my lineups even for GPPs with the higher team total teams like Boston, Toronto, Arizona. And then I might do a couple contrarian stacks. I might throw in like a Met stack. It'd be probably ultra contrarian tonight. Pretty low implied team total. And then I liked the Phillies earlier. Even though they did drop, I still kind of like them tonight. So that's probably something I'll look at. Other than that, guys, those are pretty much my thoughts for tonight. I got to start building my own lineups here. So I'm going to sign off. There's no questions in the chat. Jose said Cardinals, I think. Yeah, Cardinals would be... See where the Cardinals are at. Their implied team total is 4.6. So, yeah, they look like a pretty good option tonight. They won't be as high owned as someone like a Boston or a Toronto. Definitely a good hitting team. 4.6 team total. Just watch the weather there. I noticed that there was some rain in the forecast, it looks like. So, you're definitely going to want to watch the weather there with Cardinals. No other questions here, guys, so I'm going to sign off and start building my own lineup. So good luck with your contest tonight. Hope you guys make some money. Cheers.